Um, okay, so I'm beginning now.
During this pandemic, I have used self-quarantine to truly be by myself and with myself.
It's so surreal.
With over 2,500 deaths.
I miss my friends and I miss my bands and I miss being around other people.
Quarantine has been a roller coaster.
I've been working out more.
And dealing with a lot of stress.
In normal life, I'm a very active person.
What would you do if the internet broke down?
This is where there's going to be more racism towards, Asians.
Oh, that's another thing, online classes.
It sucks.
Do I believe everyone deserves healthcare? And yes, I definitely do.
What kind of responsibilities do I feel like I have during this pandemic?
I spend probably like 8 hours a day studying.
The IV grind never stops.
Education is still accessible.
The education has been affected too.
This lockdown has impacted our community very harshly.
Bam, I'm scared. I'm stressed and I'm scared.
I didn't think I'd be filming this. Today is March 20th, 2020, on a Friday afternoon. And this is an introduction video on our video diary for the next few days, weeks, months. We don't know how long, but we are going to show you and take you through our journey of this situation, of this global epidemic, COVID-19. In any way possible, we want to help, but we just wanted to keep a record of our story. So, to recap, for me it started late January, early February, when I took on a presentation for my Bio-HL class about COVID-19. By then, it was about 20,000 people infected, most of the infections in China. And by then it was very distant and we didn't really think that it would reach us because Panama, where I'm living, is kind of isolated and very secluded. And so we didn't think that it would happen here, but it did. Valor and I are going to show you snippets of our lives to share how we feel and think and are coping with the situation. And it's not going to be easy, but the whole world is going through this, and as a high schooler taking IB diploma, doing online classes, it's been very weird for us. But I just hope that we hold on to hope because we don't know how the situation might end. Without further ado, let's get on with the video, as all the other YouTubers say.
March 13th is a day where life as we knew it changed greatly. At first, many of us thought the coronavirus was really nothing to fear, but then alarms quickly went off, schools shut down, and big changes were made. Quarantine quickly became a part of our daily vocabulary, and the switch from a social life to virtually none at all was drastic. For the past months of quarantine, we've been able to get a glimpse into the life of some students around the world. Here is what they've been doing through quarantine.
I've never lived through something like the coronavirus epidemic in my life. It's so surreal. I never thought that I'd ever have to lock myself in the house for the safety of everyone else. That's a really big responsibility that we're facing now, is just being able to comply with the idea of self-isolation and having to give up such a vital necessity, which is social interaction. There have been some good sides to the idea of quarantine, just because we have so much time to ourselves to do what we want. So I get to work on things like songwriting or reading, which are hobbies that I don't often feel like I have the time to do because, when you're not in quarantine, your life is kind of busy and you get to do a lot. But now that we have so much time to ourselves, you can kind of just do what you want.
In normal life, I'm a very active person. I play tennis competitively and I have for the past 5 years. I'm in 4 bands in school, so I'm always looking around for things to do. If I'm not playing music, I'm playing wall ball, which is basically me playing tennis against a wall. Or I'm studying. I've been having to do a lot of studying, but online classes.
I think about a month in quarantine, I have developed a routine, and it consists of the following. I get up to go to my online classes, of course having breakfast before, and then I would go downstairs to the kitchen and have lunch with my family after all of my online classes. Then I would play cards with them, and then I would do my homework, and then after that work out, and then have free time.
I've been working out more since my swim practice was canceled. I've been drawing more, and especially with charcoal, since it's a medium I've been wanting to try for a long time but haven't had a chance to. I've also been baking a little bit more. I've tried some recipes that were too time consuming before, but now I have the time to, and I've been practicing the ukulele. I've also learned a few more songs on it, which is great.
Hello, I'm from Delhi, India, and today's date is 15 May. Currently, India is at 80,000 plus cases of COVID-19 with over 2,500 deaths. The entire country has been in a strict lockdown since March due to the pandemic, and this lockdown has impacted our community very harshly as it has left many workers and students stranded. So basically, the situation is that since all the shops, industries, and businesses have been closed, millions of daily wage workers have lost their jobs. And now they don't have any way to earn money, and it has become difficult for them to feed their families and to pay rent. So this basically leaves them with no other choice than going back to their villages. But all the transportations have been stopped due to the lockdown. So now every day we hear on the news about these workers along with their families undertake long journeys on foot to their home state, which basically means walking about 500 to 1,000 kilometers. And many of these people don't survive the journey because they end up getting killed in road accidents.
Within Peru, come on, como que the poverty rate is much higher than the higher socioeconomic class, which is a ridiculous 70%. However, there has been no efficient, effective plan in order to help financially all of the families that can't afford food, neither a successful repetition of food for everyone. And not only that, but as a country, the spread of the disease is being affected by the poor people because they need to get money from somewhere. And the way they get their money is by their stand-up food stands by markets. So they still go on with their lives because they need their money. Generally, what they earn the day, they use it to buy their meal the same day. Not only that, but the education has been affected too, especially as there is a correlation between low-skilled jobs and poor people, as if they don't receive a higher education, they're not as qualified for higher ranked jobs that require more skills. So the working class remains working class until there is a sufficient educated person that breaks out and overcomes and gets skills necessary for a better job, therefore a better income, therefore a better life. We are not sufficiently equipped economically to make it a reality, and that's why these people are rebelling against the law, and many are getting incarcerated. And it's not because they're stupid or anything, it's just because they also need to live. If they don't die by COVID, they will die from starvation. So yeah, that's how our community has been affected, and it's really bad because there's really nothing we can do.
During this pandemic, I have used self-quarantine to truly be by myself and with myself. So I've been taking care of my mental health a lot and just thinking about who I am now opposed to who I want to be in the future. I've been reflecting on ways of thinking that I have, personal habits that I've developed, and relationships, whether it's with others or myself. And I've been doing this by keeping a journal where I write down my emotions and express my feelings whenever I feel like they should be expressed or whenever they're just up in there, I've also been working on homework because the Ivy grind never stops. So Ivy keeps going, always and forever.
Quarantine has been a roller coaster. At first it was great. Oh my god, I loved it. I was kind of sad I didn't get to see my friends, but I was on top of my game. I worked on time during my free periods. I would work out. I explored myself creatively. For example, makeup. I love doing makeup. I love doing artistic makeup, like body paint and so on. And I haven't been able to do that for a while. But then after the amazing first 2 weeks, it just it went way down. School, homework, and home life has become one thing. It's been a roller coaster. And honestly, like, as much as I kind of really want school again, I'm scared. I think the bottom line for all of this was great at first, was kind of cool, never experienced a pandemic in my life. Bam, I'm scared. I'm stressed and I'm scared.
Okay, so today is March 23rd, 2020, and basically we might think this is the last day or tomorrow. So we're, coming out and enjoying the last few moments outside before we go into total quarantine. I can't believe going outside is a privilege, but it is, and I'm thankful that we can still do it. And yeah. So last bittersweet walk, but thankful for it. Okay, see you guys later.
Okay, so today is Thursday, March 26th, and this is the second day of official quarantine, which means if we go out, we could get arrested. And so yesterday I didn't go out, although we had, times that allowed us to, based on our cedula numbers. But the quarantine announcement was made yesterday, and we all kind of knew it was gonna come. And it was not really a shock to everyone. It's been quite an eventful, but yeah. So today is Sunday, March 29th, and in the morning, I want to share what happened the other day with my mom. We had a talk, and she felt down and she felt really sorry over the fact that thousands of people died in Italy and in other places around the world. But these people had to die quarantined, and their families couldn't be there by their sides, and they didn't deserve to die that way. I told her, these people, up until that point, probably lived a very fulfilling and very respectful life, and it would not do them justice if we, pitied them for life at the end. I think, if we remember them for the great things that happened instead of the bad, I think that'd be great. Today is May 4th. It's been like a month since I last filmed, and well, I can say that not a lot of things happened. It's been quite an eventful for me, but the world has, continuously suffered. We all think that this is not gonna end soon. It's gonna take, 2 to 3 more months for it to kind of calm down. I was super worried about Korea a month ago, but then now it's been getting back on track, and it's been plateauing the number of cases, and it's actually trying to get ready for the second wave, if there is ever one. So that's Korea, but then for the United States and other places, it's not been looking very well. So school's been online for the past 2 months, 3 months. We've gotten used to it, but I didn't really film because I felt really down and kind of depressed. And I know that depression is something to not take lightly, and it's something that's an actual serious mental illness. But I think we all in a way kind of feel anxious, and so I've been quite demotivated to do anything. But then right now is a very important stage of life for me, and if I do the work, if I put the work in or not, really determines how my life will kind of turn out. And so it's been tough, but I've been trying to get back on track, and I've been gaining weight because I've eaten and not exercised, but now I'm trying to lose back to the weight that I had before, and get healthy. See you soon. Hello, people of the world. I am back after a month. I don't really know. I haven't checked the last film, but it's Wednesday, June 3rd. And wow, it's been a ride since the last time I filmed. And a lot of things have happened, especially one of the biggest things is the Black Lives Matter movement. And as everyone already knows, it happened with an unjust situation where this black man was killed by a police officer, and it stirred a lot of anger and, you know, just built up tension that Americans have been experiencing, and it just exploded. Now we have this big movement where, you know, everyone is fighting for Black Lives Matter, and it's a fight to end racism. And, you know, I'm really glad that this is happening and it's gained momentum, because even though I haven't experienced like extreme racism my entire life, I have experienced racism from all races actually. It's something I feel strongly about as well. So I can't imagine how much hardships people go through because of their race, and I'm actually quite privileged. Even though I have experienced racism, I can say that, you know, I don't have it as bad as so many other people out there. I'm really glad that this change is happening. We've been protesting for such a long time, and their voices haven't been heard, and so people are forced to talk about it, but you get the point. All the projects and things are just piling up, and I've been so stagnant. I've been running away from my responsibilities, and I'm just so scared, like, to just start. I don't know. I think it's just that I've been so still for such a long time that I don't know how to move forward, and I'm afraid of doing that because I'm afraid to see how behind I am. And then that's making me more behind, which is stupid, and I'm just like, okay, just, you know, just start moving. But yeah, that's just teenage problems. I kept thinking I was the only one who was going through this, but, you know, everyone else is as well. Anyhow, there's that. Bye.
Criteria: do not wish to perform these responsibilities, have a hidden condition which prevents you from performing. For any passengers with symptoms, administering a COVID-19 test if necessary. 네, 착용해 주십시오. Approximately 5:26 p.m. Sunday, June 21st.
We're in an ambulance. So basically they're taking us to this place where we have to test for the virus, and if we test positive then quarantine will be more strict. Yeah, but I hope we're negative. If there are a lot of people, they're probably gonna wait here in this area. We're just waiting to go in this room.
So, I'm currently in Korea, and it's been a week since I arrived. So, let me explain what happened. We were already planning to come to Korea for summer vacation, and then we weren't sure if we would ever be able to actually come because of the situation of coronavirus and the airport not being open. But we were able to book a humanitarian flight and arrived to Texas, and then from Texas we went to Detroit. We came here to Korea, and so it was a long journey, and we came and tested for the coronavirus, and they shoved a cotton swab up my nose, and a week later they were like, okay, you tested negative for coronavirus. And so that means that throughout our journey, we didn't, catch the virus, which is a great thing. It's great news. So in the airport, they made this whole new system where you have to fill out some papers, and just for them to check where you're going to be staying if you're not inside of the government facility. We have 2 weeks of self-quarantine and we can go out. I'm just excited to be here in Korea. It's a situation right now, and I'll update soon.
You're going! Quarantine free!
Oh wow! Liberation!
Liberation, guys, liberation.
Looking through some of this footage, we've noticed how a majority of these students feel like they have a lot of free time. And they use this to their advantage to do things school would typically limit them from doing, as school takes up so much time. These are things like art, working out, writing, and playing instruments. So does this mean that school takes away some creative liberty students have? Well, the idea of school killing creativity has been a topic of discussion for many years. Even one of the most watched TED Talks discusses this idea, by Sir Ken Robinson. He claims that school actually kills creativity, and he argues that we don't grow into creativity, rather we grow out of it. And from these clips from these students, we've noticed how this free time actually almost feels overwhelming and too much for some to handle. However, online schooling is also proving another difficulty. It's something new that everyone is experiencing, and getting a hold of teachers is a lot harder. The hands-on experience is simply no longer possible, and a lot of us are losing motivation. Here are some of those same students talking about their own experience with online school.
It's so difficult. As someone who's so used to being in an environment where I can easily just go to a teacher to ask a question or talk to my classmates, like, do you actually understand what we're doing? To come from an environment like that and just be thrust into this entirely new system of trying to learn from your own house over a conference call on your screen, and no efficient way to really ask the questions you need and get the help you want. It's made me and a lot of my friends really stressed out because we're just so unused to this way of schooling, and it's just very difficult to learn now.
Online school has been pretty great, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I miss my friends and I miss my bands and I miss being around other people and in a different place. But if we're just talking about like school and grades, I've been doing much better. I can concentrate in like things that I really have to study and things that I don't really have to study. So for example, it only takes me like 25 minutes to do my Spanish homework, but then I can spend other like an hour or two in math. If let's say I have a math assignment due, instead of being 85 minutes in a class where I'm like looking over things that I've already seen, I can spend that time doing my homework and reviewing things that I'm not really confident about. So for example, in physics, I have to do a lot of self-studying at home anyways, so now I can actually learn a lot more and get all my stuff done in that 85-minute period. So it's been going pretty good.
I'm in physics high level. I have an IA due, not IA due, I don't know when it's due, but I have an IA to do, right? We had to do the experiment a few weeks ago, and we haven't done that yet, and I could technically do it at home, but there's not enough controls, and oh my god, and I don't have a teacher there to help me, or like at least be there when something goes terribly wrong and I don't know what to do anymore. And now I don't have that, so I don't know what to do, and I'm stressed that once we go to school, that everything that was piled up over these quarantine, that it just and then crushes me even more. And I'm also scared that the IB isn't really compensating for DP1s, because like there's a little bit of a gap in our school learning and so on, and it's freaking me out, and I'm stressed thinking about it. I'm stressed. Oh my god.
Now, I usually walk my dog, of course, and I have recently been talking to this other man who also walks his dog, and he's told me that his child goes to a Jewish school, and that he's been on practically vacations for the last 2 weeks, and the moments he's actually been on class, him, like many other people I've heard of, is actually given a massive amount of schoolwork, which he has to work for and turn in a very small time span. So I believe this is how the answer greatly depends on which school you go to.
I think our school has also been doing a really good job of making sure that the students are staying happy and healthy, and that education is still accessible, and that we're still getting the work done so that we can finish the school year as we normally would during a normal school year. I know it's a little difficult to adjust to the routines and stuff of not actually physically going to school, but I think after a few weeks, everyone has managed to adapt really well, and I personally feel like the quarantine has been really going pretty well compared to other places. So I'm really grateful that we have a good government and we live in a good country that is taking care of making sure that we're all happy and healthy, including our pets. So, yeah.
So today is September the 9th of 2020. And we have come 6 months along already since March, or when we first started this video. A lot has happened, a lot of things have happened. First of all, our situation has gotten worse, and we continue to be in quarantine, self-quarantine for the past 6 months. For people who stayed, for me, I left to Korea for about 2 months, and that was a really good refresher and very good resetting during the time I was there. But once we left Korea, it was actually getting worse there as well. So a lot of things are concerning, as well as vaccine. You know, we have news of vaccine from Russia, but we cannot really trust anywhere at this time. It's just kind of suspicious. And so I researched about this, and usually vaccines take about 10 to 15 years to complete through a lot of processes and trials and things like that. And of course, with this emergency, it must have been made shorter, but not in 1 year. I don't think that is possible without any kind of shortcut, which is not ethically correct. So I can't make any assumptions right now, but it's not something that I would trust yet. So that's that. And update on our mental state and our physical state. Because I was able to go to Korea, I was moving around a lot, and I was able to walk outside and have my daily exercise. But here, as I came back, it's really hard to work around that. I mean, we do have yoga, we have Pilates, we have indoor exercising things, but it's really hard to motivate yourself once you're inside for so long. It's just, you get symptoms of corona blues, which I didn't think that was really true until I experienced it. There's a lot of stress and mental instability, and so I think that's kind of one of the biggest problems for the generations that are younger and that have to take online school. The second wave seems to be coming again, and I hope that everyone stays safe and stays positive throughout this time. It's really hard to, but just keep on keeping on, right? I hope this video helped in any way that it could have, and I hope to see you in future videos. But enough of me blabbering on. Thanks for watching, and bye!